What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Week 14 Managers Review Podcast. Gonna be honest on this one, I don't really have a plan. With 4th of July, the lake with the Flemings, I don't have a lot to say about this week because I wasn't really paying that much attention. But a lot of stuff happened. I came up, looked on a little bit on my drive back yesterday, and whoa, mama, we got some stuff shaking up the league. So we're just gonna jump right into it. I'm just gonna go straight into matchups because I want to talk about the matchups because the past couple weeks have been nuts. Matthews lost 2 weeks in a row. Jack's won 2 weeks in a row. Owen's team is like the top scoring team over the past 3 weeks, probably combined. Maybe that's me. I got a lucky win over Ryan. There's just so much to talk about. So I think I'm just going to go directly into my matchup with Ryan because that was one that, neither of us were paying that much attention, but a lot of stuff was going on. And we each had options on how to win or lose. So first things first, the Hunters. We were anticipating a Saturday of fireworks, July 4th fireworks with Hunter Green and Hunter Brown, both starting. And boy, were we wrong. Hunter Green, 3 innings pitched, a loss. Just gross, man. Just very gross. Hunter Brown, something very similar, -4 on the day. And they're aces. They're guys you expect to do really well. Ryan had a couple good streamers with the White Sox against Cleveland that didn't really work out. Zach Wheeler got touched up last Tuesday. I got some contributions from my rookies, plus Manny Machado, Sean Burke. I mean, talk about a waiver wire pickup. The guy's been nails for the past 2 weeks. Trey Savage matched him. Obviously, he's got a little bit more pedigree than Burke, but all great stuff. And Junior Caminero, I mean, the guy is gunning for the AL MVP. I mean, who's it going to be besides him? Maybe Bobby Witt. I don't know. But yeah, all crazy stuff. Cole Carrick, I picked him up a couple weeks ago. He's been a lifesaver, filling in for Wyatt Langford, who got hurt 2 weeks ago. I mean, he helped me in my matchup in the previous week, and he helped me scrape this win out against Ryan. The Mets guys did fine. Lindor, Soto, it's all whatever. Troy Melton, I mean, a gem start. I mean, let's just look at what his page looks like because he honestly is a dude who I considered shouting out a few months ago, but then he just got instantly picked up. So where's my share screen? As a background, screen one. Share. Yeah. So let's look at this. Let's look at this. And this is probably what the format that I'm going to do this in for the rest of the video. Troy Melton. And stay tuned, by the way, if you need some pitcher streamers, Julie especially. I know he's the guy that. I mean, look at this. Now, this middle blue part here, that's a bit concerning. I don't love that. But and I don't love this ground ball, but he gets good extension. He doesn't walk anybody. He limits hard contact. He's a useful dude. He's like a weird version of like a fly ball, ground ball guy who gets tons of weak contact and doesn't get any whiffs. I mean, and he throws decently hard. Yeah, his fastball is nails, and his off speed stuff is good. So he's interesting. He's definitely an interesting guy. Devers turned it on. Yuri Perez has had back-to-back incredible starts, which I love to see. I'm very thankful I've held on to him. Also, Trevor Rogers has had a good run here. Not that I think that that's necessarily likely to continue. I just have to hope he executes. But Anthony K, Gregory Soto, these are dudes who Ryan needs to get a few points from that he didn't get. Newt Bar, Rasmussen had a bad start. Like if he has a good start, Ryan and his matchup is much closer. Instead of it being I'm up almost 20 points, Rasmussen throws up 15 there, it gets really interesting. But that didn't really happen. Aranda had a slow week. I don't think any of this stuff that's happening where I'm beating guys who are good, I beat Ryan. This isn't going to make the rankings actually change that much because I mean, I think it maybe should, but I'm not going to change the rankings. I don't think. I don't think that's fair quite yet. I'm definitely knocking on the door as far as the Ryan Matthew tier goes. But the beginning of my year just really sucked, and I need to make sure that these guys that are on my team now, like I'm still getting propped up by a couple of dudes. Like Sean Burke was my top scorer this week. I don't think that's going to last at all. Cole Carrick got almost 30 points. I mean, he's good, but is he going to be that every week? I don't think so. So, and like I'm looking at Ryan's guys, and with the exception of like Melton and probably Devers, honestly, like I don't think any of these dudes who scored more than 20 points are not going to score that. Like I can see them continuing to do that. Whereas I have four guys who scored 30. I'm looking at that thinking I probably don't get that from Perez, Ashcraft, and Burke. Maybe Machado can do that. I don't think any of those other guys can. So I'm gonna count this one as a lucky win in the books for sure. Same with my wins against Owen. So I think my team is overperforming a little bit right now, but they're not nearly as bad. Let me correct that. They're not nearly as bad as they were to start the season. So maybe I'll put all of us on a line this week. But if we have another week like this, things are definitely going to get definitely going to shake up at the top. Let's move on. Sam and Connor. I mean, Sam put up a real slobber knocker, led by Riley Green, who, I mean, oh my gosh, the guy's on fire right now. He's had back-to-back like amazing weeks, uh, and he's just really turned on. Like he's still striking out a bunch, but those contract metrics are carrying him. We all knew that he has this. He's pulling the ball in the air even more than he has in years past when he's been good. So like I think Riley Green can continue to be this good or even be better down the stretch. Look at that walk rate. I mean, that was not there the year before. Like, look, wow. I mean, this is a definite step forward. You can see he's replicating his 2024, which he didn't hit quite as much power like he is now, but you know, like he's probably going to hit 30 home runs this year. But we'll have to see. James Wood on Connor's side did great. And Jake Bennett, haha, shout outs. I told Connor to pick him up, and he's been awesome. So I'm glad to see that. Garrett Cole, man, I don't know what you're going to do with him. Connolly Early's on the IL. That sucks. You're going to need to fill that spot. And you better listen to this episode quick because I got some waiver wire pitchers. The pitching wire is much better than it has been in weeks past, and that's because guys coming off the IL. Chris Sale had a bad start. I mean, Randy Vasquez, he's done. You should have dropped him. You shouldn't have even been starting him. Roop, let's take a look at what Roop looks like because I said he would be better. And he's had a couple bad starts in a row. But like, I mean, as far as a waiver guy, like this is awesome. Like he is limiting hard contact to a legendary degree. And he's striking guys out enough that like his good starts are going to outweigh his bad starts as long as like it comes down to this curveball. I mean, if he can hit this curveball, like look at this thing, it's nasty. This is why you got to eye test guys. Like holy crap, that's a total frisbee. Nobody's gonna do anything with that if you set it up correctly. And so I think he will be. And I think he's gonna figure it out. Shane Bieber, tough one. Not sure what to do with him. Is he gonna suck? Is he gonna be good? I have no idea. I wish I could give you some advice. But he's a dude who has a track record of getting hurt and being amazing. Are those days behind him? He's getting older. I don't know. But one thing I wouldn't do with Bieber is trade him. You either got to hold him or drop him now, because the return you're going to get is probably not going to be great. Look at this. He doesn't really throw a fastball. That's a sinker. I mean, there's a sinker, but still, sinker curveball. Yohan Duran, not great. Hap had a bad week. Dominic Canzone, good pickup. Curtis Mead. All these guys look fine at the top of the lists again for these dudes. I mean, these are guys that I think will probably be good. Garrett Cole is the only question mark here, quite frankly, and McClanahan. I mean, these are guys on on Connor's side who these pitchers they're not amazing. Besides Chase Burns, who's awesome. I just keep a close eye on these guys because you just never know when they're going to fall apart or when the team is going to do something like McClanahan. I'm very scared that he's just hard capped for the Rays. Andy Pajes had a bounce back week. Ketel Marte looks awesome. Parker Messick had 2 fine starts, which is just all you needed from him. Jacob Latz. I mean, Sam has and Varland. I mean, they got 20 and 15 points. I mean, from your bullpen, that's just awesome. As far as bullpens built from scratch, Sam definitely has the best one. With these guys really stepping up. Troy Johnston, I'd be careful with him. I think there's 3 lefties on the schedule, and it's all away games for the Rockies this week. If you got Rockies on your roster, I'd think about making a waiver switch. And as far as the rest of these dudes go, Sam's got a lot of waiver pitchers like Soriano, Ray, Majinski, Lambert. These are all dudes I feel like are sort of interchangeable with a couple of guys on the wire that I'll talk about later. And if you want to hold them, Sam, that's perfectly fine. Geez, Pete Alonso had a pretty bad week too, but Braden Montgomery did fine when he was put in the lineup. Harper had an okay week, 15 points. That's not as Merlin Valdez. Good job picking him up. He's a firecracker, man. Let's look at what his Saman page looks like. I talked about him earlier, and like, yeah, this is what you're gonna get. Tons of power, tons of strikeouts. I mean, he's certainly interesting, and if he can get these contracts metrics up more and maybe walk a little bit more, he could turn into a Schwarber guy. But like, definitely just a guy to be very careful of. If he starts striking out all the time and this power stuff goes away, he's gonna be awful. I mean, really awful. He's gonna be a total drag for your team. Just a lineup spot where you're getting nothing if not negative points. So just be careful. Lenny Clement, Andrew Vaughn. All of like Connor's replacement hitters are just perfectly fine. They're like just better, just enough better than a waiver wire guy. You really shouldn't drop them. Chisholm had an awful week. Adele was bad when he was put in. But yeah, Sam's team is looking really good. Sam and Owen are definitely sort of rising to the top of the West, and Julie is struggling. So that's going to reflect in the rankings this week. So maybe I'll just shake things up this week. I said I wouldn't, but who knows? Maybe I'm sort of coming around to that. Now, this is probably the upset of the year, and it's just a combination of totally bad things happening on Matthew's side and Will getting everything he needs, Will and Kyle. But let's take a deeper dive into this matchup and sort of try to parse out exactly what happened. Now, the high draft picks for Matthew, for the most part, showed out. Mizorowski didn't have as a lights out a start as he normally does, but like the guys who have been good have been, went off. Jordan Alvarez, Shohei Ohtani, they both got 30 points. That's amazing. Sandy Alcantara came up big. He had a massive 8-inning start against the Athletics that just went well. Colson Montgomery did fine. Ben Rice, 16 points. Now, you'll notice there's one name that's missing from that. That's Nick Kurtz. He's sort of in a big slump right now. Quite a few Ks from him, 5 for 23 with just a home run, a couple RBIs. Same with Bleday. He's slowed down a ton. And I was never been huge on Bleday. I was kind of expecting this regression, but he still looks good. Even now when he's in a little bit of slump, his contact metrics still say he's half decent. And especially with that walk rate. My goodness, that's awesome. But like, yeah, he's a profile. I didn't buy that he was that power guy that he was showing. This is a bit more palatable for my taste, and it's still a good player. So good job on Matthew for just holding him, not immediately dropping him. Not like I would expect him to do that. J-Rod's on the concussion IL. That's a shame. Gavin Williams had a Gavin Williams-esque start. And Aaron Ashby, funny guy. I mean, he still got 12 points, so not like I can tell Matthew to drop him, but he sort of sold a couple times where he needed to get points and he ended up negative, even if it was small. Just bad timing. Pete Fairbanks did bad. Blaze Jordan, when he was put in, was bad. Tyler Phillips had an awful start. And Peyton Tolley, I mean, a couple bad starts in a row, or it's two bad starts sandwiched in between a great one against the Yankees. You just got to hold him. He's awesome. Like, this page is probably still good. Yeah, I mean, nothing more you can ask for a guy who was a waiver wire pickup, and he's probably going to be even better than this, since I expect all of this will come up. He's had a couple bad starts in a row. But yeah, a couple of nasty streams for Matthew. combined, but with some just bad hitter luck. But let's look at what Will did that sort of carried him because he had, five less. Oh, way more than that. He had eight less players total grace his lineup than Matthew, and he still won. So what happened? Well, Cody Clemens decided he was going to hit 3 home runs. Mickey Moniak hit 3 home runs. I'm not surprised about that. Mickey Moniak's been nails. He's been good, and he finally came off the IL. And the Rockies played 7 games in Coors. So I was sort of expecting him to go beast mode, and he did. Not that Will or Kyle really expected that themselves, but, that's all part of the game. Same with TJ Rumfeld. He had a great week. Jordan Walker, Brandon Lau both did really well. So they got 48 points combined. Did Wheeler and Reynolds do that? I don't think so. I think they got 30 or something combined. So that trade already a positive for Will and Kyle this week. Liam Hicks is back. He did good. Just everybody did good. Nobody really did that terrible. Davis Martin had a bad start. Altuve didn't do well when he was put in. Kumar Rocker had a very mid start, 6.5 points, and Corey Seager was on the IL in their lineup. But yeah, this is just good luck. Matthew had a bad week. Matthew was due. He had a couple weeks earlier where his team didn't do very well, but he still won. I think he was playing Jack or something. So we'll see how this shakes out. I still think Matthew's team is the best team, and probably by a decent margin. But Ryan and I both did well. I don't think we should be moved down or anything. And we're knocking on the door. This happens a couple more times, and the standings are going to be much closer than people think. But that's a tall ask. So Brooks versus Owen. I mean, Owen's team is absolutely on fire. And he was aided again by more Rockies. I said, get Rockies on your roster. 7. I didn't mention that in the pod, but then I went into Discord and said it because I felt like it was such a big deal for last week. So, and also now it's time to get the Rockies off your roster. They're not playing in Coors. So don't drop any of these guys. Try to make measured decisions on it. Like McCarthy, I don't know. You could probably drop him. I know he's hot. It's fine to hold him. But he was Owen's top scorer. He got 45 points. He went 10 for 31 with 3 homers and 13 RBI. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen again. If it does, I'll be very surprised. Eddie Matthews threw two decent starts, ended up with 30 points. That's great. PCA continues to be amazing. But let's take a look at Zebby Matthews. I get that he's hurt. He took a comebacker off. But, how does he get guys out? How in the world does this guy get guys out? He doesn't strike anybody out. He gives up loads of hard contact. He doesn't extend. His fastball is a meatball. I don't know. But I do know. Because there's another guy who's a lot like this, who I've hated for a very long time, who I'm going to compare him to. And that is Seth Lugo. Now, before I click on his page, this is what makes Zebby Matthews special. Is all of this going on down here. Look at this. He throws 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pitches. Seth Lugo throws 8, but it's the same deal, right? He stinks. He's terrible. But he's able to switch guys up with his pitch mix, and he doesn't walk anybody. And when he needs to get guys out, he trusts his fielders. Now, neither of these two teams, KC's very good defensively. They got Bobby Witt. Cagliano's got a cannon in the outfield. They've got some guys who are really good in the outfield. Kyle Isbell, Michael Massey's pretty good. They got an all around pretty great defense. So Seth Lugo can get away with being just terrible because he mixes guys up. He gets the type of hits he wants. It's very difficult to make work. Very, very difficult. But I'm sort of seeing that with Zebby Matthews. And his pitches are just better. So if he pitches decently and his page continues to look like this, I'm just going to have to start believing that this is the guy Zebby Matthews is. And he was a great prospect. So I'm not going to totally count him out, even though his hot page is not very impressive. Now, Dubon did awesome. The Lauder had a great week. He finally hit another homer. which is great to see directly off the IL. DeLauder has an awful injury history in the minors, so it's good to see him playing and doing well after his injury. Weird freak injury, too. Boz, Palante, again, all guys who are just a little bit better than what's on our waiver wire right now. Fuentes pitched well out of the bullpen. Melvin Marte did fine, you know. But at the bottom, Nico Horner's in a bit of a slump. Brandon Woodruff's back on the IL. It's Brandon Woodruff. Christian Scott is back from the IL, did not pitch particularly well against Atlanta. They're not a tough matchup right now, but they will be at some point. Kyle Harrison had a bad start. He didn't even make it 3 innings. And Kyle Harrison, I think, is one of the best pitchers on Owen's staff. So I'm looking at this, and I'm not seeing a ton of overperformance, Jake McCarthy being the obvious exception. So I sort of think Owen stretched himself as thin as possible to get points from as many different sources as he can. And it's mainly just taking my advice and listening to what I have to say. I appreciate that. Grant Taylor also looks like he's just going to be the guy for the White Sox, even though his usage has been really strange. But let's take a look at Brooks, because on Brooks' side, things have really started to fall apart. This is his 3rd loss in a row, and just things are looking bad. Besides Xavier Edwards, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and Sal Stewart sort of waking up, there's nothing really to be excited about here. Bregman sucks. Raleigh sucks. Brady Singer, Josh Naylor's been bad. Kerry Carpenter's platooned. Jaron Duran has been awful. Goldschmidt's just 0 for 14 with 4 Ks. Just god-awful stuff. And Bregman had a good week. 24 points. Where are the points going to come from? If I were you, Brooks, I think I would be knocking on maybe my door, trying to make trades. Raleigh still has value. I would still trade for Cal Raleigh. I don't know if anybody else would, but I'd probably still do it. Now, Brooks Lee, back to being just a guy. Taylor Ward, Andrew Abbott. None of these names make me excited. There's no upside. Brandon Young had a regression start here. He's an interesting guy. Let's look at what his page looks like. This is just fascinating. What a strange profile. It's saying he should just be mid. He gets tons of chases, but he doesn't strike guys out. And what that tells me is his stuff sucks. Look at this. He's not locating that well. He can place his sinker really well, his 4-seamer really well, commands his fastballs. And this splitter looks pretty decent. For a splitter, this is pretty good, but man, that little bit up there, that's scary. I don't know. Excuse me there. Allergies. And this curveball's, right in the middle of the zone. That's terrible. And wouldn't you know it, his off-speed breaking stuff is not getting very much, and it's his fastball that's carrying him. A good fastball can get you far, but I don't know. I'm scared of him, especially being a split finger pitcher who's been this consistent. That's just a doubt. Even the best splitter guys aren't that consistent. And Arrighetti on his team, he had a great start, but another guy I really don't trust. This page, almost a 5 expected ERA. At least this is encouraging. Maybe he'll turn it around. He walks too many guys. That's scary. That is very scary. Don't love him. But, and Sheehan, the Dodgers don't seem to have very much faith in him. Molly had 2 very bad starts. Brady Singer, these are just guys I don't like. So, start pillaging the wire. These guys probably aren't worth it. And I said that about Andrew Benintendi, and then he had a good month. But I think he's going to be back to being a pumpkin. So, yeah. George Kirby's been fine for me. Sal Stewart, that's been pretty much even trade so far. But yeah, Brooks is in trouble. Brooks is really in trouble. Chris versus Oz. Now, Casey Mize, two brilliant starts. I mean, is the prospect pedigree, is that number one overall pick finally here? I mean, this looks like a guy who's here. Incredible stuff. He's a fly ball pitcher, but at Comerica, not that bad. Um, awesome xERA. I don't even like xERA that much, but it loves him. Doesn't walk anybody, strikes guys out. I mean, a 20% K minus walk rate. That's awesome. That's great. He could be a top 25 starting pitcher. I mean, Chris still has starting pitcher capital. Like Bryce Miller, another guy came out of the woodwork and is just back to being awesome, back to his 2024 self. Keishel finally had a good week. Let's take a look at how he's doing. I traded him away without a second thought because his profile just looks so sad to me, and it still doesn't look good. But he's sort of becoming the Luke Keishel I maybe hoped he would be, or that was the likeliest outcome, who is just a guy who's fine. He doesn't strike out. He walks some. And occasionally he'll maybe put one over the fence and knock some guys in. This is the profile. I was hoping that some of this stuff would be better, but it's regular. You got a good week from him. Is it going to continue? I don't know. Bobby Witt did fine. You want a little bit more out of him. Gavin Sheets had a great week. He's going to be a very week to week guy. You got to watch the matchups there. Max Meyer, Kevin Gosman, all starters who are just good. So Lugo had a decent start. Like I said, he is freaking weird. I hate him. Rutschman did good for a catcher. Arenado even had a fine week as a guy who's just old. Casey Schmidt didn't do that great. Paredes didn't do that great. Baldwin is still in a slump. I wouldn't trade Drake Baldwin right now, but there are plenty of guys in our league who I think would buy him, considering that you've got two catchers. And Rutschman looks really good. I mean, look at Rutschman's page. It's looking back to being himself. I mean, it's taken a bit of a dive recently. He's in a little bit of a slump, but this is still very, very encouraging, especially at a good catcher slot. And with like Drake Baldwin and Rutschman, I don't like rostering two catchers. I would try to get rid of one of them for another hitter, for another position guy, for somebody who's really struggling at catcher. I don't know. Peralta sucks. Dustin May had a bad start. I think Dustin May is going to be fine. He's probably going to be the normal streamer type that he always is. I think people sort of overreacted. Sacconi's bad. But yeah, and the bullpen guys were bottom of the list, but you never expect them to be amazing. So I don't know. Chris has loads of starting pitching, and everything else is just sort of mid. So you can try to move some of those guys, maybe squeak out a couple extra points here and there. But that's clearly where Chris's excess is. So if you need a starting pitcher, knock on his door, try to get those guys away. I love trading starting pitching away. If I was Chris, I would have done it ages ago. And then our final matchup, Julie versus Jack. I mean, Jack, he's opening the app. And wouldn't you know it, he's starting to win weeks. That's what happens when you pay attention, guys. Now, I will say Jack got he got some contributions from dudes who I don't think are going to continue to bruise, and Julie's pitching staff. I mean, it was a historically horrendous performance from his guys this week, and another problem, week-to-week matchups. Something like this, it'll hurt you in a roto. It will straight up lose you a week. So, and it looks like Cavalli is serving a suspension, which he had an amazing start. I don't think that's going to continue. Kyle Stowers, man, I did try to buy low on him a little bit, and Julie was smart not to trade him away because, I don't know, he's just got the kind of power upside that I really like. Look at that. He's mashing the ball right now. But yeah, if he can keep that K rate right around 30% or lower, he's going to be fine. Dylan Cruz did perfectly fine this week. As a replacement guy at the wire, if he gets you 15 points every week the rest of the way, you're going to be thrilled. Taj Bradley had a good start, struck out a bunch of guys. He's just going to be inconsistent. That's what you get with him. But he's got 2 starts this week, which is great. Travis Mazzan did bad. Mason Miller only got a save. Roger Schultz. I mean, it's just like Boyd, Stott, Langoliers, Thiel, Bellinger, Schlitter, Skeens. I mean, these are guys you're expecting minimum 15 points. They just did terrible. They just did awful. I mean, Schlittler, Skeens combined for -4.5. That's unbelievable. And not to mention, not only that, but rookie Sasaki, Tatsuya Yamai, David Peterson all went negative. So that's 5 starting pitchers who just got you no points, who actually hurt you, which is just unbelievable. I mean, that's not going to happen every week. Gage jumped 2 bad starts. So, Jack's team was giving it back a little bit there. George Springer, he's bad. I mean, I would honestly consider dropping him at this point. What does his page even look like? Yeah, the guy's old. Like 72% bat speed. Dude, I think this guy's done, and last year was just a miracle. That's really what I think. Salvador Perez also seemingly is cooked. I mean, Jack is a guy who really needs a catcher. But Connor Griffin, 14 points. Hey, love to see that. Hopefully he can do better. Got a bunch of steals. Luis Castillo did fine. Michael Harris did really well. Ozzy Albies, Luis Garcia. These are the top listers for Jack. Erod was his top scorer. 2 great starts. Man, what is up with Erod? Like, no way, dude. Like, no freaking way. This is ridiculous. Look at this discrepancy here. No, no, do not. Jack, if you can get rid of Erod for anything, anybody decent, somebody who's not listening to this podcast, do it. Do it. Other than that, everybody else is fine. I don't love Jack's team, but they did okay. They did well enough to get a win here, and Julie had a terrible week. I'm not sure how far I want to move Julie down because this is sort of ridiculously unlucky. But yeah, we're going to do it. It's time. Owen and Sam are doing well enough that I don't think they should be ranked above him or ranked below him. So that's probably what's going to be made. Now, guys to watch here. There are some rumors about some prospect call-ups. Joshua Baez, who I talked about a couple weeks ago. I know some people are. Joshua Baez. Yeah, I mean, he's right on the edge. The Cardinals should probably call him up. If you want to stash him, he's a top prospect. Maybe not worth stashing, maybe not quite that good. Charlie Condon are also Rockies prospect. They've got a lot of dudes who are sort of gumming up the woodworks. Guys like TJ Rumfield, Troy Johnston. In the outfield, just strange. But they're guys that he's a guy that I would seriously watch. If Condon gets called up, he needs to be rostered in our league. He's basically Bryce Eldridge, except he plays in fours, and that's just crazy. That's a guy you gotta get. He honestly might even be worth a stash right now. But other than that, let's take a look at the pitching wire. Those are some young prospect hitters I really like. And as far as batters go on our wire, Caleb Durbin's hot. If you need a third baseman, he's fine. Spencer Steer, also a little bit hot right now. He's got a home run in his last game. The Reds haven't been playing him all the time, but he fills the second base slot. So Alec Bohm, again, he's just been fine. He's been good. If you need third base, pick him up. Other than that, none of these guys particularly compel me. I mean, Cole Young is getting everyday playing time, and I know he hasn't been amazing, but he's a dude who can hit a homer every once in a while, and it's just fine. So Chase Mydroth, same deal. He's basically the same guy, except he strikes out a good bit more. Other than that, yeah, nobody else I really like. Trevor Larnach. Watch out for him because he's got massive power. Like, what does Trevor Larnach look like? He's definitely a dude I would watch. Yeah, I mean, for a waiver wire guy, this is not bad, and he's killing the ball right now. So honestly, if you need an outfielder or just want a DH upgrade, I think he's maybe the best hitter on the wire right now. Yeah, probably Larnach. Kyle Karros also is having a big week, but I'm going to chalk that mostly up to just the 7 games in Coors. So I'd probably stay away from him. I don't know what his page looks like. Let's take a look here. Maybe I'm wrong, but he plays third base. Hey, doesn't look that bad. Maybe Kyle Karros is worth a look. I don't know, but they got a lot of away games this week. That's up to you guys. Um, and I think they do have 4 lefties or 3 lefties, so he's going to get some playing time because he's right-handed. Instead of Troy Johnston, probably at third base. But now let's get to the meat. I mean, this is the good stuff, the pitchers. Now, as far as streamers go, there's not guys who got great matchups. Like Jack Flaherty's been good, but he's a total Charizard, and he might torch you this week at Philly or against Philly at home. Kelly's got the Padres, but they've been looking better. Reynaldo Lopez is back to starting. He might be worth picking up by somebody against St. Louis. They're fine. Noah Cameron at Baltimore, I like that, but like Noah Cameron's a dude. I'd pick him up if I was really in need of a pitcher. Walker Buehler's got Toronto. Shane Drowen's at Pittsburgh, and while that's not an awesome matchup anymore, I like Drowen a lot. Efficiency is a problem with him. Location. Kyle Leahy against Milwaukee, probably don't do that. Anthony Kay against Boston, I'd probably still stream him. He's not amazing. Javier Assad is at Cincinnati. That's a little bit scary. Hurston Waldrop is out there. 2 starts. Pittsburgh at St. Louis. He's good. Trevor McDonald is out there. He gets Colorado and Toronto, both at home. I'm honestly thinking about picking him up right now. That's good. I actually don't. I actually am not thinking of picking him up right now. I've got too many good pitchers. But yeah, Zach Littell gets the Yankees. I mean, honestly, the Yankees are looking so bad, I might even consider that. Savali at the White Sox probably don't do that one. Manaea gets KC. They've had a couple offensive explosions, but I like Sean Manaea. Gets the Dodgers, don't do that. Andrew Alvarez gets Houston, don't do that. Jack Perkins at Detroit. That could be really good. Ryan Johnson for the Angels. Who even is this guy? I've heard his name. Not particularly exciting to me, but he's out there. But yeah, there are guys on our waiver wire now for pitching. So if you are really struggling with that, I would go ahead and pick them up. But yeah, tons of weird stuff happening. Interesting stuff. The league's getting shaken up. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up here, but keep doing what you're doing. And if you're struggling, try to pillage this waiver wire because there's some opportunity here. And there are guys that I think are going to be good down the stretch, or at least worth something, probably more than what's on y'all's rosters right now. So stay in tune, listen to the pod, and keep it up. Thanks for listening, guys. Talk to you later.